This is the Minor League Hockey Report podcast.
This is Minor League Hockey Report podcast number 28, part 2. I'm Matthew Harding, still joined by Zach Corder and Jason Chavi. Our podcast is still sponsored by Superior Signs and Engraving. They're your choice for signs, trophies, name badges, and more. Visit them online at superiorsigns.biz. And we're still thanking our friends over at CHL Forums for their partnership with Minor League Hockey Report this past hockey season and moving forward. Well, this is part 2. Part 1 with Joel T. Lamerno was released last Thursday, and so we've got a lot to get to in this podcast. It was so big that we had to break it up into 2 podcasts. Yeah. Zach, Jason, you guys are still here a week later. How you doing?
It's hot.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, man, how good is Michael McDonald in this
Oh, me, oh, my.
song?
Such a long way to go. Run a long way to Mexico.
Oh, my
Your
God.
wife's a nice lady.
Here we go, wait.
Such a long way to go.
Oh, God.
Do you remember that video John Wright tweeted about this?
Yeah.
What was this?
If I have to hear I'm gonna be here one more time, I'm gonna burn this
Oh, me, oh, my.
to the ground. Man, part 2, right?
We've been here a whole 5 days.
We have, and the cuss word cover this time is
Oh, me, oh, my.
there you go. That's the cuss word cover for this time in this edition of the Minor League Hockey Report podcast.
I about killed Zach Corder.
Part 2.
Part 2 is gonna be just
And
unbelievable.
no, that was not a real fart, by the way.
No, it wasn't. Thank God. Because let me tell you, 5 days later, the room is still stuffy as hell.
It is stagnant in here.
It is very stagnant. We have
You know,
a
I
fan
like
going.
saunas, but this is awful.
This is awful. This reminds me of the atmosphere I brought back from Iowa that I was up for over Memorial Day weekend. Apparently, I'll just leave it at that. It was a sweaty time in the cornfields of Iowa.
A sweaty time was had by all.
Yeah.
I sweat so much I look like B. Arthur right now. You look like Carol Channing.
Oh, me, oh, my.
Oh, God. Carol G, thank
Oh
you.
my goodness gracious.
So
man.
this is
Well, just like podcast 27,
yeah.
they've already tuned out.
They really
It's
have.
done.
But
I'll still listen.
thank you for listening to part 1. And hey, you had to tune in for part 2. So
Okay, we do have a little bit of business to take care of.
There has been some big moves in the league that we will talk about.
But we have
None
one thing
bigger.
to do. No, we have one thing to talk about, Matt.
What?
Real
Which
quick.
is?
Real
Which
quick. We
is?
got to go back for a second.
Okay.
I need to thank Adam Stiles and
yes.
everybody at Superior Signs and Engraving. We have a new lovely banner on our website that is created by Superior Signs and Engraving. If you need anything for your banners, plaques, website stuff, anything that you need, call them. Get with them at superiorsigns.biz. They're great people and a great company. They've been with us since the very beginning, and we cannot thank them enough. We basically just re-upped with them for another year. So Adam Stiles and everybody out there, thank you so much for everything you've done for our website.
And while we're saying thank you, I want to say thanks to my friend and local radio personality here in Wichita, Hank the Mechanic, for cutting us some liners. You'll hear things like this.
Previously on the Minor League Hockey Report podcast.
So that is Hank, and
You're welcome.
He'll be he'll be around with a standing invitation to join the podcast at any time.
Hank, we want to hear you on the podcast because you are so awesome.
That's right. So come on down, Hank.
Come on down.
And join
Come
the
on down
and join the
Stairs.
podcast.
That's literally where we are.
That's right. We're literally in the stairs in the production room of the sprawling
Yeah, just come
Journal
literally
Broadcast
downstairs.
Group building.
One more person, real quick,
Yes.
which will transition into what you want to talk about.
Yes.
Jimmy.
I want to thank from all of us, Jason Miles of the Wichita Thunder.
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks, Malsey.
Malsey we owe him a beer or two, but
A lot.
Not really.
I'll let you describe why. But I just wanted to personally, from all of us, say thank you very much because we've known you for a while as friends, but professionally this year, Jason was a huge asset to our team.
Yep.
Whether it be hooking up interviews, getting us in contact with certain people throughout the league and even outside of the league. So Jason, publicly, thank you so much. You did a lot for us, and we couldn't thank you enough.
Your thank you to Jason Miles kind of dovetails into what I wanted to talk about, and that was that Minor League Hockey Report has been named the 2013-14 CHL Media Services Award winner, and a huge honor for all of us, myself, Zach, Jason, Rich, and Tulsa, to be named to this award. We had the chance to catch up with Director of Communications Bob Hoffman with the Central Hockey League, and he talked a little bit about the award and what it signifies. Let's talk about the Media Services Award. This was the 6th time that the award has been given. Give our listeners of the podcast a little bit of background on how that award came to be.
Sure. It is a word that really is kind of near and dear to my heart. It's one that back when I used to work at the team level, which I worked for about a dozen years at the team level in the minor league hockey world, before I became a member of the league office, I kind of grew an appreciation and an understanding of how important your media members and coverage is, obviously, to your team. And not only for getting, the good news out there and to help your brand, to help the brand of the league, but also, some of the bad news that needs to get out there. I mean, informing your fan base and keeping people abreast as to all the happenings really is what fandom is all about, and them trying to keep pace with the day-to-day operations and the day-to-day, ins and outs of a professional team. That's the love that they have is for, in certain cases, we'll hypothetically use the Wichita Thunder there. It's the love that Thunder fans have. So what's important to that is obviously the coverage that they're going to get in the news they're going to see in their local print editions in the newspaper, they're online, as well as some of the local television stations. So from my end of things, when I came to the league office after about 2 years with the league office, other leagues have this type of award. Some leagues do, to where they honor a media member, as opposed to many of the other awards that we have in the Central Hockey League that honor people within an organization or players on the ice, coaches, trainers, broadcasters, etc. I'd like to honor someone outside of one of the organizations and put this award in place to honor those people in the media kind of services world. We wanted to look at what kind of categories it could cover. As you can see with some of the past winners, 2 of them are photographers, one from a national paper, or at least a big-time local paper in the Denver Post, and one as well from kind of a freelance side of things, and also doing a little bit of miscellaneous work at the Tulsa World and Kevin Pyle in the past years. But you go from a photographer to a television anchor to a beat writer, and Minor League Hockey Report kind of goes in sets, I guess, a new bar for a couple of different reasons. One, because it's the first time that more than one person has won the award, because by honoring Minor League Hockey Report, obviously we're not just honoring one individual, we're honoring an operation. And also, it's the first time that an online-only medium is taking the award. However, it's viewed and approached from the news standpoint, from the blogging standpoint. It's really kind of revolutionary, at least for the award, because it's the first time in both of those cases, and I think it opens the door for the future for many people that may want to get into this line of work, or that there are a lot of different bloggers and people providing news and information to the fans of the CHL and of the different teams that are kind of in this area and in this arena. So I think it opens the door for them as well. So we're excited to give the award to Minor League Hockey Report, to yourself and your colleagues, and well-deserved, and I think it really fits into what the exact purpose of the award is. Well,
Bob, thank you so much for doing this, and let's do this again next year. How about that?
Anytime, and you guys being new with the numerous people new at the first online, let's see if you can be the first to repeat.
Yeah, let's do that. That's the goal of our team, and
well, keep up the good work, and best wishes in the off season. We'll talk to you again soon here.
All right, very good. All right, and our thanks to Bob Hoffman again with the Central Hockey League, and I just want to say we found out, Zach, you and I found out a couple of weeks ago now, and it was on a Tuesday morning, I think. I got a text message from Jason.
Thanks, Jason, for texting me.
And told me to check my email, when I read it, I was floored, because it signifies the amount of work that we have put in and how far we have come in just 2 short years. And so I want to say personally a couple of thank yous. First off to the fans of Minor League Hockey Report. Whether you love us, hate us, or are indifferent about us, thank you for coming to our website. And thank you for all of the insightful commentary that we like to have from you guys. Thank you for pointing out our flaws and when we get things wrong. Just thank you for everything, being fans. And we know that minor league hockey has rabid fans nationwide, and no better fans in the Central Hockey League. The second big thank you I want to give is to my wife. And I've told her a couple of times, and she's kind of sloughed this off, but she's as big a part of the team as the four of us. So there have been many nights where I've been cutting a podcast and could have been spending time with her. So,
and I add to that, seriously, I'd like to say thank you to Shaylin as well, because I brought you into writing with us, at least, and it was on a whim. It was you trusted me that we were going to do something better. Mike was the one that brought us into that, but Shaylin has not only traveled with you to Allen so that we could cover Game 7. She's spent many nights with you and I at the house, and she
watching playoff games.
Yeah, so
late into the night.
So as much as you want to be sincere, I also want to be sincere towards your wife as well, because without her blessing and her support and just her being there for us in any way, shape, or form, we couldn't have been where we're at as well. So
Shaylin's awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shaylin.
And behind every man is a strong woman in any operation you will find. And I am so blessed to have a strong and stable wife, my best friend, Shaylin. So thank you very much, honey, for allowing me to do this. And so there you go. Kudos to the wife for her part in all of this. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank publicly on a podcast Mike Finazzo, who started all of this 3 or 4 years ago with you and I.
Mike came to us with a vision that to make something like this, and
Mike based out of Evansville, Indiana, and writing wasn't even one of his jobs. He was a tax preparer.
Yeah, he's a tax guy.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
he's a tax guy.
He's the numbers guy. So Mike, if you're listening to this, thank you so much, and Rich Lohman as well. Thanks for working with us this year. We enjoy working with Rich down in Tulsa. So a lot of thank yous to go around.
I want to thank you guys. Matt and I have had long late night conversations and serious talks, as well as some fun ones, but we three here are very, very close friends.
Yeah.
This is not just a random occurrence. I've known Jason for, I think, over 6 years now.
I slept in your bed before.
Matt, that's a true story with me.
Yes.
Matt and I have been very close friends now for about 3 years,
I haven't slept with him yet.
Well, you might in Vegas.
Yes.
This wouldn't be the same without you guys, and we've probably been upset with each other, maybe a little down because we had to do something late at night, but we always have seen the vision of what we wanted, and I still think we all can agree that vision is not quite there yet.
No,
but
not by a long shot.
We started out with nothing. We didn't have anything. We started with Armchair Report. That got dissolved, basically, and we had nothing. So I want to thank you guys just for being there and for stepping up when need be, and for taking my articles when I couldn't. So it's been incredible, and I love you guys dearly, and this has been so much fun to do.
And it really has been. It's been a very fun ride.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming to me and asking if I want to be a part of this. And I know I don't contribute a whole lot to the podcast and articles, But it's been an interesting journey. It's been very fun, but I am very honored to be associated with you guys and Rich in Tulsa as well. But I really do look forward to doing these podcasts every time we have them. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's nice to do something outside of school, like writing wise, that I don't hate
college.
to do.
Let's preface college here. You're not like some 17-year-old. Then
Yeah,
you look like it, but you're not.
Oh yeah, well, you know. Anyway, I'll appreciate the young lookingness, I guess, baby face when I am 40.
It's just your size
in certain aspects. Anyway, no, I am very honored to be associated with Minor League Hockey Report, and especially you guys, and how we become good friends through this as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, we've all had those late nights where we don't really want to write an article for whatever reason.
Yeah,
but
you get that text, hey, can you cover for me?
Yep.
But you know what? We stick through it. We grind it out. You know, muck and grind. You know, we're that third line that is on every team that just sticks it out and does what's needed. And I appreciate you guys for. Yeah.
But boys, it's been fun, and for all of you listening out there, as we're doing all this sweet talk, we started this though because we wanted to give you more than just your newspaper, and we're not talking crap on any of the newspapers because
we're friends with a lot of them.
With Jeff Lutz, we're friends with Quad City. It's just
Bobby Metcalf.
Yeah,
there.
Bobby gave us some great praise. It's not
Bobby.
It's not about giving you something aside from your newspaper. It's giving you more. It's giving you in-depth stuff that they're not supposed to do. Your newspapers aren't supposed to give you what we do.
No.
And the opinionated articles, the podcasts, going outside of it and bringing you guys information and news that you would see on an NHL level to your CHL teams, because we as fans, we've watched Thunder hockey for 22 years each, and we as fans know that you always want more. True fans out there always want to know more about what's going on with your team. If you've been through one of the team's sales in the last couple of years, you want to know what's going on when your team gets sold or when there's a chance they might not come back, and that's what we wanted to bring you, and that was our goal. And right now with this, we feel like we've done the best we could with that, but we feel like there's more that we can do.
Yes.
And we're working towards that. And for those of you that have maybe have criticized us, I will go on the record as saying, folks, this was done with our own money. This was done out of pocket. We
don't make money off this.
No.
We have not made a single dime off of this website.
Not yet.
And I will publicly say that we have not gained financially out of this, but we do it because we know that we are giving you something more. And we actually enjoy looking back on it and saying, we did that. Yeah. We were able to help you guys see that the league sold. We broke the league selling.
Yeah.
And so that is what we get out of it. We don't get anything financially. For those of you that have said that we are getting some sort of giant financial gain out of this, Why
am I working 3 jobs if we're having to get financial gain out of this?
Yeah, our sponsorships that we talk about are strictly an agreement, a shake of hand. There's no money exchanged, and
maybe a beer or two.
And that's what we are getting from this. So, if you've ever thought that from us or anything like that, please don't, because when we start making money, you'll know about it. But right now, we're not. And Matt touched on it. We do it because we love it, and we do it because we want to bring more to you all. So, we really do appreciate the feedback, negative or positive. Negative feedback makes everyone better, and it's all about how negative criticism helps people get better with what they do. And so, regardless of if you like us or hate us, thank you. Thank you for
thanks for reading.
Yeah,
thanks for interacting. We appreciate any kind of interaction.
And we have several diehard, I don't want to say diehard, but we have several repeat readers and listeners out there. And to all of you, thank you. You know who you are, that constantly are on our Facebook and Twitter. And
thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Thanks, Jason's mom. So.
Oh, hey.
But no, it's Bob touched on it. We might be the first repeat winner. That's what we want to go for. So.
Yep. I want to collect as many of those plaques as we can.
Yeah, so
plaque's not good. For your
also,
teeth.
Thanks to Bob Hoffman, by the way. Bob's been Bob was the one person in the league that actually believed in us. Thanks to Bob. Bob has been great. So
yes, and look for more from us as we go into the 2014-15 season. A lot of moves, as you heard from Joel T in the part 1 of the podcast, could be coming. we could be looking at a big summer. So Minor League Hockey Report is going to be your source for all of that information, news, rumors, things like that, league-wide, as we move forward into the 2014-15 season and beyond. So again, thank you so very much for all of the interaction that we've had with you over the last 2 years. We're not going anywhere. We're going to get bigger and better. And like the Allen Americans with the President's Cup, come and take it from us. So and we'll
strike two, shall we?
Jiminy Christmas,
right,
Albert Bell.
We have a moth in here, and
I know it's strong enough.
Come on, Ernest. Just kill the moth.
This is Mothra.
Do it. What is the matter with you? It's on. It's literally on you, and you're not killing it. It's down.
Oh shit.
We're doing this. So just so you have a.
I'm just getting. I want this out of here.
Just so you have a lay of the land of where we're at. We're at the Sprawling Journal Broadcast Group conglomerate in Wichita, Kansas, and we're in a production room downstairs. There is a moth that has been flying around for the last 5 days since part 1 of the podcast, and it has been flying around. It is now somewhere underneath this console that we are sitting at where we're all doing the podcast. And we're all trying to find this thing so we can kill it.
Not sorry, PETA.
Yeah. Yeah, but we won.
So anyway, yes. And
We did it!
Like,
Yay, we did
like, and like the Allen Americans, again, like we said, come and take it from us. We're going to try and be the first repeat winners of that award. Speaking of repeat, let's talk about the Allen Americans championship victory. We're going to put a little bit of a wrap on this. The Central Hockey League had a very interesting article here recently where they asked the question, does the Allen Americans winning back-to-back championships constitute a dynasty? And I've given this quite a bit of thought, and this has been a hot topic over on CHL forums here recently, and in some 4 pages of comments there. My initial blush would be no, that
I would agree.
Allen winning 2 consecutive championships doth not make a dynasty. However, my next thought would be, well, if you look at the body of work with that,
From when they first entered the league?
from inception to now, my next thought would be, well, yeah, they do, because they've been the best team in the league the last 5 years.
I don't think so.
Now, what
Because-
constitutes a dynasty, I guess, is what you're probably going to go into.
The only team that I've ever looked at as being quote unquote a dynasty has been the Colorado Eagles, and they won 2 championships. And granted, they were 2 years apart, but they won WPHL championships when they did they?
No, they were just.
Oh, they were
they
new.
didn't- They were
okay.
brand new expansion franchise.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But they won them 2 years apart. But they were always that conference finalists.
Yeah, and they've been to how many finals too? Like 4 or 5, maybe.
yeah.
Well, okay, let's take a look at Allen.
They've been to 3 and 1
They've
too.
been to 3 finals in 5 years, 2 Governor's Cups, 2 President's Cups.
Yes.
Winning record every year, playoff team every year. If you're gonna look at the body of work, let's broaden it out to the New England Patriots. Everybody says that is pretty much a dynasty in the National Football League.
They do have 3 championships in that time.
But they have not won since Spygate.
True. I agree with that. But what constitutes a dynasty? Regular season wins and, playoff appearances or championships? That's the question. Because if you're talking about dynasties, I would say the 1980s Edmonton Oilers.
Well, absolutely.
Or the Islanders in the early 80s and late.
Both of those
70s.
were dynasties simply because of the championships they ran off.
Yes. But that's what I would constitute a dynasty, is the amount of championships you've won in a given amount of time.
Yeah. I would.
I know it's a hard question because it's there's so much gray area.
Yeah.
Because regular season success should play into this.
You could go back and even look at Bossier Shreveport during their time.
But they've only
won I believe 3 WPHL championships
but only
before
once.
coming into the CHL and kept right on winning. They made it to the playoffs, I believe, off the top of my head here, every single year they were in the
Sure.
in the Central Hockey League, won a championship in 2011.
But that's the only one.
Yeah, I still think that the only team that I would consider a dynasty so far is the Colorado Eagles. Because 2004, 2005 they won, 2006, 2007 they won, 2007, 2008, and 2008 and 2009 they went back to back as league runners up, and then in 2010, 2011 their last season in the league, they were also a runner up for the cup.
So, but I think that if Allen wins another cup within the next 2-3 years,
Or even goes to the finals.
Yes, I think that would constitute him as a dynasty.
Yes.
Right now, it's very close. It's in that gray area.
I think there's two teams that would be even in consideration for that.
Who would that be? I'm just curious.
Allen and Colorado, but I don't consider Allen at that point yet.
Okay, that's fair.
Hang on here.
And talking about that, how many did the Red Wings win in that time? Like in the time span in the '90s, they won two or three.
They won 3 in a row.
Yeah,
2 in a row.
Two in a row in like 3 and 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah.
I think that would be considered a dynasty.
Here's my deal. Here's my point to that, and I will say this as I'm looking up the information on Allen here. You look at all of the turnover that happens in minor pro hockey. It is very hard to keep that core. And, and yes, Allen has done that, but I would say I would say 39, 47, 42 wins, and then they go to the finals in 2009 in their first year in the league.
Yeah.
Take Rapid City to Game 6 in, I believe, the second overtime. Mm-hmm. Go back the next 2 years and play deep into the playoffs, and then win championships.
It's close.
It's very close.
So the way that you're defending, though, you would put Allen as a dynasty.
Yes, yeah. I would because.
Would you, Jason?
Because of the body of work.
I will not yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
I'm with Jason on this one. Jason and I are paddling a 2-man rowboat here.
Well, yeah, and that's fine, and I don't mind row your boat. I don't mind paddling upstream here. I just say if for some reason Allen gets into the playoffs and makes another deep run, then does that push you over the edge?
Deep run, I don't think so. Finals, yes.
Finals, yes. Deep run, no.
Because that would be 4 runs to the finals
especially
in 6
with the
years.
number. Okay, but especially with the number of teams over the last 2 years, and then next year, we're looking at another 9 or 10 team league.
Yeah.
If they don't make another finals run, I don't see it.
Agreed.
Now, one other team I want to throw out here, out of respect to Terry Ruskowski, was the Laredo Bucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
03-04 finals, 04-05 runner up, 05-06 champion, 06-07 runner up. They went back to back to back to back being in the finals. So that I would actually put with the Colorado Eagles.
Yes.
If not better than, now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah. I would say
4 years in a row in the finals, that's a dynasty. I should have
2 out of 4, yes.
Well, but 4 years in the finals and winning 2 out of 4 of them, yep.
Yeah,
So,
I would
sorry
agree.
about that, Terry. That's my bad. But
I would agree.
yeah, but I think next year, if it's not a finals run, and it definitely if it's a championship, I would say that they're probably, if they three-peat, I would go put them
three-peat definitely.
Well, I'd put them down though as one of the best teams ever in the league.
Yes.
Yeah. We talked about this.
Next year, well, yeah, I'm just saying that next year though. Next year for them is key as to whether or not they are basically the pinnacle of the Central Hockey League's history. If they're a dynasty with, I would say, 2 other teams, or if they just had their back-to-back run like 2 other teams have done.
Right. I would, if you look over the history of the CHL, I would say that your dynasties would be the 94 through 96 Thunder. Well, okay, let me ask you this. Let's go through the back-to-back champions. Would you put Wichita as a dynasty?
No, not a chance.
Memphis.
Because the first year they were so-so, and they had
then they had that 2-year run.
Yeah, and then after that they fell flat.
Okay.
No.
Memphis.
No.
Memphis is kind of the same thing, but they did have good seasons after that.
Hold on here.
But they didn't go to the finals after that.
Okay.
1 second here. Well, give me 1 second. Let's pause 1 second.
Yeah, that's fine.
The year after Memphis won back-to-back.
Uh-huh.
They didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so no. That wouldn't be a dynasty.
And then the year after Wichita went back-to-back,
They didn't make the playoffs either. I don't.
they were the worst team in the league.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
and
so
they were the
really-
worst team. I think they were the worst team in the league the first year as well.
Yes.
So
worst win.
now,
Worst.
what I will give you on this argument is, or this discussion, better word, is that for 5 years in a row, the Allen Americans have been a strong force in the Central Hockey League, and I mean a strong force.
Mm-hmm.
So with your thinking, and I can see your thinking in it, and I'm not necessarily wholly disagreeing with you, but when you use the word when you use the term dynasty, I look at basically championships and finals appearances. Really, that's just maybe that's naive of me.
Okay.
And
then
looking
if
at
you're
that-
looking at championships and final appearances, that is 3 appearances in the finals in 5 years.
In 5 years,
60% of their seasons are in the finals.
But I think you and I can agree that the 09-010 season with 15 teams was a whole different league almost. Than
Absolutely.
That's why
Absolutely.
No,
I agree. You have to look at the league as well.
Allen, though, in 2011-2012, which was the year before they won their first title, lost in the first round.
Yeah.
And
they were, I believe, a 1 seed.
They were a 2 seed.
2 seed, okay.
Yeah, it
And
was.
they lost to Fort Worth, who got
beat by
Wichita in the next round.
Yes. Yeah, there's just certain factors that I look at that kind of take away from quote unquote dynasty.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
in talking about dynasties, what about Oklahoma City from the time they won their first to the second? Because in your argument, they won a championship, lost in the first round, lost in the second round, lost in the finals, lost in the second round, then won the championship again.
Making the playoffs though doesn't constitute a team.
Well,
being a
no,
dynasty.
but that's what I thought he was kind of arguing.
Oh, I got you.
I think if you're going to use the New England Patriots model that the big mainstream sports media want to use as, man, look at Tom Brady. He's in the playoffs every year. They win AFC championships. They win AFC championships, things like that.
Yeah.
I'll say yes. Then if you're going by that model, as loose as that model is, then yes, that is a dynasty. However, no. I don't believe Oklahoma City was a dynasty.
No,
Too far apart.
Well, no, I was just kind of going off based your argument off Allen's.
The 5 years, yeah, I can see his point there. But
Yeah, too far apart.
Well, those are 6 years apart compared to 5. So,
Right.
yeah,
I mean the time spans are
Right.
Anyway, but I mean, I might as well pose a question since
Sure.
that's what we're arguing.
No, and it's great to talk about that as something to. It's great for the three of us to talk about. Obviously, it's great for the fans to talk about. A lot of discussion on the Allen Americans forum at chlforums.com about whether they're a dynasty or not.
but I think the question had to be asked, though.
Absolutely.
Because Matt makes a great point. 3 finals appearances, 5 years is very, very commendable. I mean, it's a great accomplishment. The one thing though that I want to add to this, that first finals appearance was with Dwight Mullins at head coach, and so I'd like to see Steve Martinson go back and do this again. And I'm not saying these were flukes by any means. Please don't get me wrong.
No.
Back
not at all.
to back championships is no fluke.
No.
But I'm saying I want to see him at the realm go to another finals in the next year or two, and then we can have that discussion.
Yep.
Is the Steve Martinson Allen Americans a dynasty?
Yeah.
Because I mean, then you
Yeah.
start you can go to any team that maybe switched coaches and say, are they not? The Colts when they had Tony Dungy and all those years, and then who took him to the Super Bowl? Jim Caldwell. So that's how you have to look at it. And I don't see the Colts as being a dynasty, and I'm a Colts fan because they went with Jim Caldwell, not Tony Dungy. Now I'd like to see Martinson make another finals run, and then I'll be able to say, yeah, Steve Martinson and that guy and the Allen Americans that's a dynasty. Because you look at all the other coaches that we're talking about. Terry Ruskowski was in Laredo. Chris Stewart was in Colorado. And
Scott Muscat in Bossier, if you're going to look at him.
Yeah, and then for Wichita, you had Doug Shedden, so Oklahoma City had Doug Sauter. It was a continuum of the same coach.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of looking at as well.
Sure. No, and that's a great point to bring up is, you're right. Allen did change head coaches
And Allen
midstream.
plays a different game too. Allen's game is
Absolutely.
completely different.
Absolutely.
So that's another factor that just maybe kind of adds to their success or their quote unquote greatness now is the fact that they've gotten a lot tougher, but yet still are winning.
They play probably the roughest game.
I'll say gritty.
Grittiest.
You look at a guy like
they play so much sandpaper, and I haven't seen a professional hockey team play with that much sandpaper in a very long time.
What grade is that sandpaper?
Probably 12.
12 grade.
It's very coarse.
Very coarse.
But you look at a guy like Bootlin, and Bootlin's a guy that if you don't play, if you're not a fan of that team or you don't play with him, you hate the guy.
Beard.
But he's a gritty, yet he contributes. And that kind of describes that entire team. And
Like his beard.
Yeah, Shawty likes his beard, so and so does Les Rainey, but but that's
I get jokes.
I just it's a completely different team as well, and I think the league has evolved as well a little bit. So
yeah, no, I agree, and I'm with you. I'd like to see Steve Martinson lead them again to another deep run or another finals appearance or a title with now new ownership and possibly the same players, maybe a little different in the veteran core.
While you're talking about great coaches being a dynasty, Scott Hillman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Flawless transition.
Flawless transition. Not a dynasty in Missouri. You won one Governor's Cup. So that was a great transition. So, no, not a dynasty in Missouri.
But a winning tradition.
Winning tradition was established there under Scott Hillman. Moved on to greener pastures in Indianapolis with the Indy Fuel of the ECHL. Leaving behind 5 years behind the bench there in Missouri. Apparently, this was a very tough decision for Scott and his family, as reported very well by Joe Rozicki of the Simbin blog and Bill Althouse of the Independence Examiner. We did speak with Brent Thiessen the day after Hillman submitted his resignation. Thiessen underlined, italicized, and boldened that there was no animosity between Hillman and the organization, and said that the process is well underway for getting a head coach. Where do you guys come out on the Hillman era in Missouri? Did they fall flat by not winning a championship under Hillman there?
I don't think so, because when you have when you're competing against teams like Allen and Fort Worth and Wichita and then Fort Wayne over the last 5 years, the thing that we have to remember is that Missouri's only been in the league 5 years.
Yeah.
And they've been winning since day one. And so Hillman really established that and brought that winning culture in there. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't get over that hump, and it's not for lack of trying or for lack of teams. Now this year you could maybe blame a little bit, but they were winning consistently, and he did that right off the bat.
Yes.
So if anything, Missouri fans should have no animosity towards Scott Hillman or say that he flopped or anything like that, because he gave you all winning hockey from day one.
Yeah.
And that is something that is rarely, and I mean rarely, done, whether it be with a startup franchise, an expansion team, a team that moves leagues, whatever it may be. That is rare, just to get off the bat and hit the ground running. And they've done that.
Absolutely. And I think
it's very hard for a team to do that.
Yeah.
Within the first few seasons, and he gave him that.
For those vocal minority Maverick fans who wanted Hillman to be fired or Hillman to resign after the Arizona series, look, the team lost 2 straight games in double overtime. That probably will not happen for a very long time to that franchise in a playoff series. Second, the guy brought winning hockey to Missouri and Independence and built the franchise
from nothing
and brought you to a perennial championship contender in that time. To me, if you were calling for his resignation, then you got your wish. Now it's going to be now we're going to see whether those fans who wanted that resignation to happen, if they're going to be okay with the team potentially taking a step back, or maybe even excelling a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Joe Rozicki, the Sin Bin blogger, who is he does a great job at kicking out very good articles that are non-biased for the most part. But he's one of the biggest fans of that team.
Yeah.
And he's fully prepared. He said it himself for a step back.
Yes.
Now, the question I want to ask, and I want to pose it to you guys, and I want it to be more of a yes or no answer, because I don't feel like it's our place to speculate. But Brent Thiessen made it very clear, or at least tried to, that there was no animosity between Hillman and that there was no underlying effects, that this was just Hillman. And the more we read about it, the more it looks like that. But it was just Hillman going to greener pastures. But yes or no, do you guys each think that there was any sort of underlying effects that maybe led to this?
No.
I don't know.
Do you think the finals had anything to do with it?
No.
Or, I'm sorry, not the finals, but their first round exit.
No, I
don't
think he
think
was.
so.
I think he was shopping before the season was over.
Do you
Yeah,
think it's more like here's a different sport reference, but a Tampa Bay and Tony Dungy kind of thing? I mean, well, Dungy did get fired compared to
No,
Hillman
what I
resigning.
think it was is still at the AA level. The ECHL is viewed as a step up, as a half step up. I would still argue that a good CHL team could compete with any good ECHL team, but that's my personal opinion. But new organization, he already won once. Maybe Indy, I don't know. Maybe Indy's just, it was an appeal to him. And I think that you look at what we just talked about it with Joel Lamerno about Derek Laxall. Derek Laxall went from the CHL to the ECHL, and now he's in the Edmonton Oilers organization. You never know which the Indy Fuel just signed an agreement to be the minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yep.
So it may just be a career move. It may be just me that ladder of trying to get to a higher level. And Scott is a young coach.
Yeah.
So, Scott wasn't playing too much long ago.
No.
So it just, you got to, I think that's what it was. Honestly, as much as we've talked to Brent and as gracious as he's been to us, and I think the rapport that he has with Joe Rozicki and the fans, it's hard for me to believe that a guy like Scott Hillman and a guy like Brent Thiessen had issues with each other,
Yeah.
even with the Mavericks' first-round exit. But I wanted to ask you guys, because us as journalists, we have to ask that question. And rather than making some BS opinionated write-up that could have been gone both ways, I just wanted to ask the question because it does need to be asked, because the fans asked it.
Hillman was in that tree of what kind of working the career ladder to get to the National Hockey League. Do I think Hillman will be a National Hockey League coach? I don't know. I think Hillman's a very bright guy. I've talked to him a time, and you can hear that interview with Scott Hillman from earlier in the season here at minorleaguehockeyreport.com in our interview archive. But as we talked with Joel in part one a couple of days ago, he said that the coach hiring process is just that. It takes a very long time. So I do think that the ball was rolling on this late into the season, and when Scott Hillman was done and the Mavericks were done, there was very little chance that I think he was going to come back for a sixth season.
And to add to the whole situation, maybe Indy saw Hillman as a great coach to help start the franchise like he did in Missouri.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because it's like this, like we said, it's their first year into the ECHL, and they see that potential that he could help Indy become that rabid fan base that Missouri became.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I'll be bold and say that if not NHL, Scott Hillman will be an AHL coach in my opinion.
Yes,
I could see that.
Absolutely.
So-
I absolutely agree with that.
I mean, a young coach who wins like Scott Hillman is like a needle in a haystack. It's hard. They're hard to find, and he's got that winning tradition, even going back to the SP, correct?
Yeah, when he was with Knoxville.
So I mean, did he win 2 or 3 in a row?
2.
So I just, I think he'll keep moving up, and I think this was honestly just a career move for him. And
So
but, hey, good on Scott Hillman.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So frosted
and-
tips, we'll miss you.
And
Let me tell you, and I'm not joking. That guy had some frosted tips that would have made
Lance Bass.
some of the NSYNC people a little jealous, because those were quality
those
back
were-
in the first year or two. One thing that Brent Thiessen talked with us about is the short list, and and Jason Chavy is on that short list.
Yeah.
But the short list for coaching candidates, which Jason Chavy is not on, and he, you know, there's been a couple different speculations with the Missouri fans, and Kevin Colley being one, Jamie Rivers from St. Charles, previously St. Charles, the artist formerly known as St. Charles, as another. And
the Revolution.
But Matthew here has put together his own short list of 6 candidates that we're going to talk about.
Well, so let's get into this. We have Jamie Rivers and Kevin Colley. We'll start with Kevin Colley. He led the Arizona Sundogs to a series victory over the Missouri Mavericks and Scott Hillman, 4-2 with a couple 4-1 with a couple of double overtime wins, and 4-2 in that first round series. And then Colley lost in the second round series to Denver 4-1. Heard a lot of scuttlebutt about Colley being perhaps the next Missouri head coach. What do you guys think of that? Buy or sell?
Well, I think it'd be a good hire for Missouri, but I don't see him leaving Arizona. I think he's kind of starting to build something down there. The only thing that I would see being a difference for that, or a selling point for him, would be money. Yeah. Because if Missouri can lure him away with a good sum of money. But it would be a good hire for Missouri, in my opinion, because he's already winning. And he made a point, this is something big I like with Kevin McCullough in Wichita, is that he could win and bring in players in the middle of the season that immediately impact for the extreme positive his club. So, I mean, if the money's there, buy.
Yeah. You?
I would agree. But on that note, would you say that he could stay in Arizona because near the end of the season or kind of midway through, they got the right players in there for them to win?
Yeah, and like I said, the only reason I see him leaving is if Missouri says,
"Here comes the Brinks truck."
Yeah, we'll basically, back the Brinks truck up because you're getting paid. Because honestly, what coach wouldn't leave? And Missouri is. Let's talk about this real quick. Missouri is a fantastic city. Independence is a great area.
And it's in Kansas City Metro, so there's a lot
to do. It's a nice city. Kansas City is.
We know firsthand.
But the arena is brand new. The fans are there. I mean, everything organization-wise from top to bottom seems to be top-notch.
Yes.
So, I mean, if they can pay him more, that's a great place to go if you're going to stay within the Central Hockey League.
And BD's Grill.
Oh, yeah, which don't take...
Backyard burger.
Don't take...
I don't think that was there.
Yeah, it is, because he used to do the backyard. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Red Robin.
But anyway,
regardless,
Missouri's a great place to go if you're going to stay in the Central Hockey League.
Yes.
So, Kevin Colley, I'll buy.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll buy the possibility.
I'll buy as well.
Okay, I'll buy it as well. I think that Kevin Colley is one of the up and coming coaches in the CHL. I do not think that his star will stay in Arizona for too terribly long. I just something tells me he'll be moving on to greener pastures, perhaps to Missouri here over the next couple of weeks. Let's talk about Jamie Rivers, the former St. Charles Chill coach, now out looking for gigs. Buy or sell Jamie Rivers being the next Mavericks head coach. This has gotten a lot of traction throughout the CHL fandom sphere, I guess.
Well, there's two sides to it.
Yeah.
The one side is that Jamie Rivers is a St. Louis guy, so he'd be close to home. Mm-hmm. I think it's more of a benefit for Jamie Rivers to get that job than it is for the Missouri Mavericks to get Jamie Rivers.
Yes, sir.
So it's hard for me to say buy or sell, because if I'm Jamie Rivers, I'm buying that. And if you're the Missouri Mavericks, I think there's better options out there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, is he a bad coach? Absolutely not.
No.
But I think Missouri's kind of one of those gigs that's like, it's like you're already getting a winning.
Yeah.
It's yours to lose, basically. I mean, it's your.
You have to come in and win now.
Yeah, it's your winning percentage to lose, basically. I mean, that's
kind of
you have veteran guys there that I mean, who would get rid of Sebastian Tindall, really? So I mean, he's there, and you look at some of the other guys that are stay around guys. It's expecting to win there, so I think he has to prove himself at a different level of team first before he gets a gig.
Yeah, because he only that was his only year, like full year as a head coach, or at all anywhere, I think. Anyway, but yeah, I would agree. It'd be like taking over the Colorado Eagle gig.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
They have a winning culture already established. They have established veterans, and a fan base that's hungry to win in every year.
Right.
So you want a guy who's experienced or has a lot of experience, not only coaching wise but winning wise, and brings a winning culture to your organization. Even though if it is already established, but you already have that mindset coming in, it's such an easier transition to make.
Yeah, I hated to use the reference of like the Yankees, but I mean, because I don't think
Stop it.
it's on the same level. But I mean, you come in as a coach of the Yankees and you're expected to win.
Yeah.
And you have to have some sort of a winning tradition coming into it.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the same idea with Missouri is they're going to want to hire a coach that's going to win right away. And so I will sell on Jamie Rivers.
I'll sell.
Yep. So
Okay. Scott Muscat, a 432, 197, 65 record, 2001 President's Cup champ in the WPHL as a coach, and 2011 President's Cup champ in the Central Hockey League as head coach. Now, he does have a pretty good gig right now as a motivational speaker in the Shreveport area and actually broadened out. He's talked to a couple of sports franchises.
Yep.
But he did have some time behind the bench before they hired Kevin Colley as head coach. So buy or sell Scott Muscat as a potential Missouri coach?
Honestly, I don't see Scott coaching. I think if he does coach, it's going to be if Bossier Shreveport starts back up again.
I was just about to say that.
So I mean, the news anymore is so easy to find that I think if Scott Muscat was looking for a job,
He'd have had one by now.
Well, that or we'd be able to hear about it somehow.
Yeah.
And so, because the nice thing is, Bossier Shreveport Times, I think is their newspaper.
Yeah.
They still do a great job of covering the defunct Bossier Shreveport Mudbugs. That I think we would have heard something about it. So I get this gut feeling like Scott's not going to coach again unless the Mudbugs come back.
Yeah. That's all I see him coming back.
And I don't know if he knew somebody in Arizona or if it was a personal favor or he just maybe wanted to see if he still had it. I don't know. But the whole Arizona thing still kind of weirds me out because of how it came about. It's just like, oh, hey, here's, I don't know.
Here's Scott Muscat to coach for the last half of the year.
And he's not going to be back.
Right.
And it was kind of clear that he wasn't going to be back. So it's like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of flabbergasted mentally about what happened in that situation. So I'll sell Muscat. But I'll tell you this. It'd be a great hire because he'd fit in because he coached Shinichny in Missouri, in Bossier Shreveport. So if somebody was going to lure him, it'd be
Dave.
And then the fact that you got guys like Tennell and the organization, and I could see it, but I don't think he's going to.
Yeah,
coach again.
I think if you're going to do this, if Scott Muscat is going to do this, he's going to need the offense to stay there, and he puts his own defensive stamp on the team. When Bossier Shreveport played and Scott Muscat was the head coach there, they had such a lockdown defensive game. Could you imagine an offensive powerhouse like Missouri with Sebastian Tennell? Yes, he's aging, but you have defensemen like Matt Stevenson on the back end. You have guys like Andrew Courtney up front, Colt King still being the toughest guy in the CHL.
Yeah.
Could you... My goodness gracious!
Well, and even the goaltending, the goaltending he had in.
My goodness,
he had at one point he had John DeCaro and Ken Carroll, and those two. And I swear,
I think they let in a goal about every week.
I swear on my mother, that tandem could have played in the AHL and succeeded. And I'm not even joking. Like that is not an exaggeration. If those two played together in the AHL on one team, they would have won.
Yep.
Because they were unbelievable. And I remember, real quick story. I remember when John DeCaro was in Bossier, there was a rumor, and it was a strong rumor that he got traded to Wichita, and I nearly pooped my pants because that guy was unbelievable between the pipes, and that was something that Scott Muscat, he always had great goaltending, and he always had a knack for bringing in, even when we signed John Harrell, who the bed in Wichita, goes to Bossier and still performs well.
Yep.
So it just I don't know what it was about Scott. He's an unbelievable coach, but I don't see it happening in Missouri.
Yeah, I think if they do land Scott Muscat, then your prohibitive favorite going into next season is the Missouri Mavericks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Allen Americans.
No.
Okay. No. Yeah. I sell.
I sell, but
seems
I'm really hedging my
seems like
bets.
a good idea, good story, good whatever. But
yeah,
I don't see it happening.
I think
if it does,
look out.
If he does, the reason why I could maybe see it happening because it'd be an easier job to take, and everything's already
Everything is there.
It's more established than the Arizona
and it's not
job
as far
they
as
took
it's
over.
not as far as Arizona for maybe his family or whoever else. And again, Shinichny was with him for several years in Bossier.
Yeah.
So I mean, that poll I'm not ruling it out, but I don't think it's the leading candidate.
Yep.
Right. Dan Wildfong, a 217, 137, 36 record, and he won the President's Cup as a coach in 2009 with the Texas Brahmas. Buy or sell?
I'll buy this more than I do Scott Muscat. I'll tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm. I'll sell. Wildfong is bad with his players.
I'll buy. Yeah, he has a lot of players come in and out during the season. It's kind of.
Did you say you'll buy?
No. No, I agree with you. I'd buy it more than I would Muscat.
Okay.
But do you think he's gonna move? Well, I'm guessing he's still living in the Dallas area.
He coached the Lone Star Brahmas of the NAHL
Oh, he did?
to a 23, 33, and 4 record.
Okay.
Which was out of the playoffs. But this I'll give him. Coaching junior hockey and coaching pro hockey is two completely different things. Yep. Coaching junior hockey is you're teaching, developing, I will say, children to adults. Mm-hmm. And in pro hockey, they are grown men who already know the game and should know the game coming into it.
Yes.
So there's no teaching. It's establishing your system.
It's just fine-tuning and playing within the system.
And let me tell you, his system worked in Texas.
It did.
So
no matter what budget he was given.
And I agree with you on your point. I don't think he was the best with his players, but I think the players that he had respect from were the ones that stuck around.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And that's, and he also played with Dave Shinichny. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Shinichny references, and I like it because I can say his name.
That's right.
So I can't.
Or as they call him there, the alphabet.
That's true. That's true.
And Dave's a great guy, for the record. If Dave ever listens to us,
and we're going to try and get Dave on.
Yeah, because Dave did one of my first ever interviews ever.
And you will do that interview when we land him. You will have.
Dave was so gracious to do one of my first ever interviews as a local free website blogger that had nothing to do with what we're doing now, but he was awesome. So.
Dave's you don't find a nicer guy than Dave Schnitzny.
And I'll buy him more than Muscat.
Okay. Yep. Number 3, Kevin Kaminsky, a 161, 92, 26 record in the Central Hockey League in 3.5 seasons in the SPHL, a 102, 84, and 13 record. Buy or sell Kevin Kaminsky?
I mean, that's tough because he's got a good thing going down there, but does he want to move up back into the CHL and continue his coaching career?
Now that I've looked at this, I'll say buy.
You think so? I'll buy.
Because, I mean, he really is, let's be honest with each other here and everybody else listening. Are you making more money with the Louisiana Ice Skaters, or are you... Did Louisiana fold?
No, you're thinking of the Surge.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
And Bloomington.
Are you making more money, though, with the Louisiana Ice Skaters, or are you going to make more money with the Missouri Mavericks?
Agreed. And you have more to work with.
What's a higher league?
CHL.
Okay, and what's just a better overall arena and situation?
Probably Missouri.
I think if you look at his record in the Central Hockey League, he had Jeff Christian and Chris Richards for a couple of years in Youngstown.
Yeah.
His record should be better. If he had those high caliber offensive players, you'd think his record would be better.
Well, it tailed in near his last
he did
days
go to
in
Memphis. He did go to
Memphis.
Mississippi.
So I mean, what I don't know the whole circumstances and all the situation that happened there. So
I'm just saying, from a first blush,
oh yeah,
you'd think his record would be better.
He's been coaching since 2002 though, and missed the playoffs. If you count the year he got fired 4 times.
Yeah, there you go.
He's made the playoffs though.
What's his deepest run?
3rd round in 2008, 2009.
When that be in the Central League?
Yep.
Okay, so
1 second.
I could see that happening. I'll buy. I could see.
I could buy this.
Okay.
And that was his 2nd year in Mississippi or Memphis or Mississippi. So it wasn't like it was his first year, just just because kind of deal. He'd established himself there. They won their division, which was with the Oklahoma City Blazers, Bossier, Shreveport, and Tulsa. They went 44-17 and won. They were 3 points off the Governor's Cup for best team in the league. And their third round here, sorry.
No, you're fine.
First round, they beat the Oklahoma City Blazers 4-2. Second round, they beat the Colorado Eagles. I'm sorry, they lost. Where's the first round? I'm so sorry.
Because no, you're fine. I think that's the year with the crooked playoff system where they had to play in round.
So they had a first round bye. Okay, excuse me. Had a first round bye. Second round, they beat the Oklahoma City Blazers 4-2, and then they lost to the Colorado Eagles 4-2, and then the Eagles lost to the Brahmas that year.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so
I could buy it.
I buy it. I
could buy it.
It's just a matter of if that's kind of a good fit for him
Yeah.
in his style, because he's a very gritty coach, and the SPHL kind of reflects his playing and coaching style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Killer.
Yep. Moving on here, Al Sims, a 154, 138, 35 record in the Central Hockey League, 1 title with the Fort Wayne Comets, 4 titles in the International Hockey League with the Fort Wayne Comets. Buy or sell Al Sims as your next coach of the Missouri Mavericks? I'll go here first. I'll say sell. The guy doesn't seem to win anywhere else other than Fort Wayne.
I would agree with that, but mind you, when he was in the CHL, he was in Fort Worth, and back in those days, Fort Worth, I don't think really had the money or the budget to really compete with the rest of the CHL back then. Mm-hmm. So he didn't do too well when he was with the Brahmas. But then again, you're right. He's only won when he's coached with Fort Wayne. Excuse me. So I mean, that does kind of raise the question: will he be successful elsewhere?
Here is his dossier with Corpus Christi.
I'll quit using big words.
31-30-3 out of the playoffs. And the next year with Corpus Christi, fired. Then went to Fort Worth as a mid-season replacement.
Yeah.
13-25-6 out of the playoffs. Fort Worth 26-28-6 out of the playoffs. Fort Worth fired mid-season at 8-13-3.
Yeah.
Then goes to the IHL, wins 3 straight titles, comes back to the CHL with the Comets, loses in round 2, 31-27-8 record, their first year in the league. Second year in the CHL, win the title over Wichita in 5 games.
He also was an NHL head coach.
NHL?
Head coach.
Yeah. Yeah, as 3 years.
96-97, he was a 3-year assistant with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and
then went to the San Jose
Sharks for 1 year and went 27-47-8. So, and the IHL back then was the AHL.
Yeah.
And so he spent 3 seasons as an IHL head coach and made the playoffs every year. If we're going to talk buy or sell, I sell your idea of him not winning with only Fort Wayne. He just wins championships with Fort Wayne.
Yeah. And that's all I was saying.
But I could see it happening.
Yeah.
If we're talking about current candidates, I still put Kevin Colley and Dan Wildfong and Kevin Kaminsky ahead of Al Sims and or Scott Muscat.
I would agree.
All right. Number 5, Rich Crom. 61, 54, and 17 in 2+ seasons in Evansville. Last season with Stockton in the East Coast League, 33, 31, and 8. Buy or sell Rich Crom. Now, he had his first season in Evansville when they came with Fort Wayne to the CHL, bad. They went and got Todd Robinson. Things changed. And then the third season when Todd Robinson went to greener pastures, not so much.
I sell this because of him being with Stockton.
Yeah, I think he sticks out in Stockton for now.
I think so as well.
But I mean, he does. You do bring an interesting point because he has been in the CHL and he has won when he was here that one season. But is that more on Robinson being there or him coaching?
I think it's more on Robinson being here.
He had some good.
That's me.
Yeah, he had some good goaltending. I forget who.
Père Pellier, Olivetier, or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, I think it's a step back right now.
Yeah.
And until he gets fired or continues on or whatever, I think you have to stick it out in the ECHL.
Yeah, he made the playoffs with Stockton.
I think they went at least.
Yeah, everybody out west made the playoffs. So.
Oh yeah, because that's because
San Francisco folded. Right.
Congratulations, y'all make the playoffs regardless of record. Anyway.
The YMCA.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll sell.
Okay. And the biggest wild card of all, Wichita Thunder assistant coach Jason Duda, 3+ years behind the bench with Kevin McClelland. I didn't even put his record as head coach in the 2008 or 2009-10 season because I don't think that's representative of the kind of team that Jason Duda would have. Buy or sell Jason Duda as a head coach, not just of the Missouri Mavericks, but in the Central Hockey League.
So, I think there are certain people. Larry Robinson, though, is a great example of that. But I think Duda is a very good assistant coach. I don't necessarily see him though as a Central Hockey League coach.
Okay,
head coach.
And
I don't know.
It's a
tough question.
It's a hard question to ask because I don't know. But someone's got to give him that chance if he wants to move up.
Right.
So,
and he's established here in Wichita, so it may be that's all he does is be an assistant coach.
I will sell because as Missouri, as an organization that has a winning reputation, you want someone who already has a winning pedigree.
Yeah,
that's why I'll sell.
That's true. No, I agree. And you know,
and it's not a bash on Duda. He has not had that head coaching experience. Besides that disastrous year.
Sure, and I don't think that Brent Thiessen and the Mavericks will want to take a step back and go get another coach to rebuild the franchise. You've got season ticket holders who've already said that they wouldn't renew because Hillman isn't there, and that could just be pure talk.
Yeah.
Whatever, but
hair trigger.
Their poor playoff performance last year turned them off. Whatever. I think that you need to go, if you're Brent Thiessen, you got to go look for a coach who can come in and win with a ready-made franchise. I don't think Jason Duda is the guy to do that.
No, but
is he good for an expansion franchise somewhere down the road? Possibly. But
I do think that's a good
or is he just a career assistant head coach?
Yeah.
Like Zach pointed out, maybe some people are just destined to be a career assistant head coach like Larry Robinson.
But you brought up a good question because who knows?
Yeah. So we'll continue to follow the Missouri Maverick hunt for a new head coach, and when any news is broken on that,
we break in.
We will, yeah, absolutely. We'll break in, and we will have Joe Rozicki from the Sinbin blog and Brent and the new coach here on minorleaguehockeyreport.com. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and we'll start wrapping it up. And how many of you are fans of The Price is Right?
Oh, who's not, though?
Well, if I'm able to watch it, I like it.
Okay. So I have a video here that we will put on the website of the longest bid ever.
Oh, yes. All right, can you send it to us so we can watch while it's audio playing?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. This is going to be great. So I'm going to send it to you. So here we go. I'm going to play. So here we go with the longest bid ever on The Price is Right.
So, a pair of designer coats, an amazing trip to Finland,
Can
plus
she go with me?
a pair of snowmobiles. It's all
Snowmobiles.
yours. And
Snowmobiles.
The Price is Right.
That's not Rod Roddy.
It is sad.
And that's not Bob Barker.
No, it's not. This poor woman.
That looks like
Mary.
Sharon.
Hi, Mary.
Looks like Sharon's better kept sister.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
14,000.
No.
Mary, talking to the microphone, sweetheart.
9,000. No, I'm sorry. 60, 21,000. 10,000.
$1.
Mary, you're all over the place.
10,
1 cent.
20,
20, 30.
13's the best.
28.
52,000, Bob.
I'll show you my two.
Well,
Oh,
she's
God,
looking
she
at
is
her.
mad.
That's her daughter.
18,000.
Wow.
Tina is mad.
Tina, you felt hard coming from dinner.
50, 57,000.
Wow.
7,000.
She's at 57,000 now.
I think
You went from 10,000 to 57,000.
I think I've seen Tina on Cops before.
She wants 18,000. That's what Tina's saying.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
We're a minute 37
I
into
thought
this
she-
bid.
Whatever they said.
Wait, did she hold up the Diamond Dallas page?
Yeah.
18. 18,000.
We've seen a high of 57,000 so far. 1800. Okay.
1, 2.
Finally, Drew just loses it here. He's like, "Whatever, lady. I'm tired of holding this mic."
Right
in your
now,
face."
the other guy's thinking, I won this thing.
18,000.
18,000.
There it is.
She finally. Oh yeah!
Does it show if she won?
Congratulations. We do not know if
Damn it.
Mary won, but Drew is happy that that bid is over.
It doesn't show if she won?
It does not.
Whoever came up with
Wait,
this video
hold
did a
on,
very
hold on.
bad disservice to us.
Does anybody know? No, we got to know if she's...
We got to figure out if she's won. I don't know if she did.
One of the comments says, oh my God. Now imagine being behind this idiotic broad at a drive-thru.
I want the one number 1.
I'll have the number 4. No, the
No,
number
3.
1. No, never mind. I want a la carte, the number... No,
I'm sorry.
57,000.
I want 57,000 chicken fajitas.
What can I get for $1?
28, 18,000, 57,000. Higher. What? I'm sorry. 1800.
Well, maybe she was adding on the fly. I don't know.
Somebody said makes you wonder how she even made it to this showcase.
No.
Yeah. I love the YouTube comments almost as much as YouTube videos.
Quite. Did she?
And then the announcer going, and a brand new pair of snowmobiles. That was pretty funny as well.
It's like waiting on a customer at a coffee shop. Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up here on this edition of the Minor League Hockey Report podcast, part 2 of podcast 28. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Zach Corder and Jason Shavi, I'm Matthew Harding. Thank you so much for everything. We're so humbled to be the Media Services Award winner, and we will continue to improve on that as we move forward into this next year. So again, thank you very much for listening to both parts of podcast 28 of the Minor League Hockey Report podcast. We will talk to you in a couple of weeks. Until then, good night and good luck.
Bye-bye.
They're going home.
You've been listening to the Minor League Hockey Report podcast, winners of the 2013-14 CHL Media Services Award. Visit MLHR on Twitter or Facebook.